You know what really put me over the edge?
What?
I went to get a flu shot and it said walk-ins welcome. And I go, can I have a flu shot? And they go, do you have an appointment? And I said, no, but I thought walk-ins are welcome. And they go, no, you need an appointment. And I was like, oh, so I guess walk-ins aren't welcome.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. GIULIO here with Ryan Lynch.
Howdy, everybody.
What's up, my man?
I don't like saying howdy. I shouldn't have started with that, but that's
take
not
it.
me.
We'll take a little howdy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all doing it. We're out here. The fall has begun, sort of. I guess it's technically what, end of September, middle of September?
Yeah, it's tough right now because you really, really want to wear a long sleeve shirt again.
But it's not quite
slightly
time.
a force. I wore a long sleeve here today and
It's too hot, huh?
a little too sweaty when I showed up.
I'm looking up right now. When does fall begin? It is September 22nd or 23rd. Okay, so we are in the
close.
fall. We're in the fall.
Yeah, we're here.
It is now fall.
Mm-hmm.
And good to be here. You know what I mean? It's a good season, especially once you're no longer in school. I always used to hate it because it meant that school was coming back. And I've said this before, but I've realized now I hated school, I think, more than the average person. But it signified that. So to be honest, I had PTSD about that even through most of adulthood up until now. And now finally, I've sort of overcome the idea that it meant school was coming. You know what I mean? I'm an adult now. So, and I guess, well, once you have kids, I guess it becomes, fall is nice because the kids go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So now you get actually better. It's adult summer. Get rid of the fucking kids.
You pay it forward
Pay it forward, I guess.
when you're a kid.
You pay it forward when you're a kid. What do you mean?
You experience the bad part of school in the fall as a kid so that the adult version of you can
correct,
enjoy it.
Correct.
We landed the plane.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's very nice. That stressed you out. I like you. You're like,
Cool.
oh God, what have I done? I have to
Cool.
explain this. I better be right what I'm saying.
It worked. Worked out.
Dude, I have a good show recommendation for anybody.
Shoot.
The show's called Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones. It's on Netflix. I think it's 4 episodes.
You briefly mentioned this, something about the town where people live longer because they go up a hill.
Yeah. Did I say this in the pod?
Yeah, but just that part.
Okay.
Anything else new or?
No, but I mean, there's a bunch of great shit in it. It's just very interesting to see the way these people are living their lives. And it's also be like, wow, you're like, I'm going to do that. And then like the next day you're just eating fucking bullshit again. You know what I mean? But like it's a really fun show. The host is just clearly a guy with like a ton of substance. Like I think he made his mark sort of breaking all these records, riding bikes around the world or whatever, like taking on these crazy bike journeys. So he's been out here in the field for a minute. You know, I'm watching it being like, dude, I could host this show better than this guy, but like I don't deserve to because he is the guy who like, you know, he clearly is hands-on. Mm-hmm. The guy's a super impressive guy.
Does he host other similar shows? Have you seen him before?
No, but like he in the beginning of the show, they kind of like they basically show why he's the one hosting this show, which at first I sort of like didn't agree with. I was like, oh, like why should I don't care about this guy. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, oh, I guess this makes sense because if it was just some random person who wasn't like who their whole life hasn't been interested in this topic, they're less compelling as a host. Which is why, even though I initially had that thought, I stand down. This guy is better to host this show than me, obviously.
So what is like the overall broad topic that they're covering in this?
There are these places called blue zones in the world where people live longer. And, you know, there's been many different, I think, studies. They sort of like lightly talk about that in this show, but like people have just been curious about what things do these people in these places have in common. And this show sort of like summarizes some of that stuff, but it also shows how each place has its own unique thing. But, you know, in a lot of these places, people drink regularly. It's not like they're doing any sort of extreme healthy stuff, but they are all living longer. And there's just like a variety of reasons. A lot of the time it's like there's a real sense of community. People take care of the elderly. I don't know, like dietary stuff. Also, which I talked about, I guess, in a couple episodes ago, like this idea where, you know, some of these places, people are really religious and the church happens to be at the top of a hill in the town. Mm-hmm. So, and people are going to church every day. So these people are walking up the hill every day. And I guess that's just like really good exercise or whatever. There's this one village or whatever, or like small area, and I think in Costa Rica. And either Nicaragua or Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica. There's this 100-year-old cowboy. Bro, the guy looks like he's 50. He's riding a horse to the point where the person who discovered him didn't believe him. He thought the guy was lying. So he took a picture of his license, which I don't know how he got the guy to agree to that, and went to like confirm that guy was actually this age. That's how unbelievable it is.
Wow.
I think it might be in episode 3. But anyway, man, like it was a great show, and that kind of shit, I aspire to make content like that one day on that scale. It's so beautiful. I mean, it must cost literally 10 times my budget, if not even more. I mean, I guess like if you do 10, it's just like so expensive compared to what I do, but I hope to one day make some shit like that.
How many blue zones are there?
I'm trying to think of specifically where they are. So like it's usually a pretty small geographical area. Like Okinawa in Japan is one of them, for example, which is like an island, whatever. I think Japan in general has the most centenarians, I think we're calling them, people who are over the age of 100 in the world for whatever reason. And they've done a bunch of studies on that too. But these are not all there. So then there's one, like I said, Costa Rica, a part of Italy, like Sardinia, I think, or like southern Italy somewhere, somewhere in Greece. And I don't recall the other ones off the top of my head, but super, super interesting stuff. Definitely worth watching.
That's cool.
I don't know, pretty sweet. Okay, Ryan. So Ryan, a couple weeks ago, did, I guess, your first proper comedy show.
Yes.
So you've been doing some open mics and stuff. Pretty sweet. I sort of did the reverse order. I did like one of the shows that you did where it's like when you start in comedy, we've talked about this before, but like there's a way where you can do a real show, quote, real show, even though you might not have any experience, where as long as a bunch of your friends pay and come, you get to perform on a show. And that's different from an open mic because an open mic, depending on where you are, there are some open mics that get a real audience, but typically it's just all comedians. People aren't listening super well. They're kind of waiting for their turn, and it's not as welcoming of a comedy environment. So Ryan did his first, he did a bringer show. It's his first, proper audience show. Tell us about it.
It was cool. I started doing some open mics. I did my first open mic in April, and then I didn't do it for like 6 weeks to 2 months. And then I'd say late June through now, I've been trying to do, probably been averaging around 4 a week.
Really?
4 open mics a week.
Good for you.
Last week I did 5.
Are you doing them all in one night, or like how are you spacing it out?
Doing Monday through Friday, I'm trying to do 3 or 4, one a night.
Oh, okay.
And then if I'm around on the weekend, I'll run out and go do one. So last week I did one on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Nice,
so
dude.
It's been good. Yeah, it's been fun. So I got to do the opportunity to do a bringer show at Broadway.
Broadway Comedy Club.
Yeah, and I brought four of my buddies with me. Victoria wanted to go to the first one. I said, absolutely not.
Interesting.
I said, no way. I love you so much. No way you're going to be there the first time I go. So just a couple of buddies, and there were 12 comics, and I got to go 4th, which was awesome.
Nice.
Because I've seen that the later you go, the energy can be dwindling.
Now, did you get to go 4th because you like brought the proper amount of people? Was it something like that? Did you notice if there was like a system where like people weren't able to deliver on their people and thus they went later, or like people who didn't? Yeah, I'm just wondering.
I'm sure there was some system, but I think there was a guy I was sitting next to that I was chatting with before, and he had 3 friends that he brought, and he went 10th.
So you got real good luck at the draw.
I got lucky.
Sweet.
Yeah, it went well. I mean, it went well as it could. So I was really, I was happy with it.
Great, dude.
Thank
Good for
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very cool. Yeah, man. It's a wild ride getting into it, but definitely a lot of cool. It's a cool experience. If you ever need, advice,
Thank you.
You have a good resource here.
We have GIULIO here. So by the time when you guys are listening to this episode, I will have done 3 total bringer shows. I'm doing one next Tuesday, and I'm doing one at the Stand at the end of the month on a Saturday at 6 p.m.
With Laughing Buddha?
Yeah, Laughing Buddha.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you should tell the people, I mean, the guy who runs it, that's sort of where I got my like start in a way, that specific program or whatever. Because what they do is there'd be like industry who'd come. And back in the day, it was a much more like industry dominated business where like it was harder to make your own opportunities. So you sort of depended on these people. So I had done some acting, whatever. So anytime there was an industry person, I would do it. And it would be a variety of people. So it would be like a person who books the road, right? And when you're starting comedy, you don't understand that like booking the road, you just hope that you're going to get to host or something because you probably only have 7 minutes of material anyway. You're not going to be headlining. And what you also don't realize is like a lot of big people bring their own openers. So like there's limited opportunities for like, okay, let's book our own host. And like, I remember like I went upstate to a comedy club in Poughkeepsie to host for, man, I don't even remember who the fuck was headlining. I do actually remember Max Dolcelli. Shout out to Max. He's still out there crushing it, I think. I opened for him. He was really nice to me and I got it through that school. So there's other things too. Like there was commercials, people who sent you on auditions for commercials or casting or whatever. And I ended up booking this like Sony campaign, which was like a huge thing at the time, like randomly before I had any real experience doing much. And then I got my first MTV show from that too.
Wow.
They asked them like, hey, we're doing this pilot. It was just some sort of like shot in the dark pilot and it ended up getting picked up for a series and I did 20 episodes. So
that's sick.
It's
hard to find that series. I think every once in a while, every 3 weeks, I try to Google it and find it, but I'm not able to find it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like anywhere, but it's called Totally Clueless. Anyway, I have all the episodes and I occasionally throw some of the clips up.
Giulio has archived everything he's done.
Yeah, which is good because eventually, like you said, like you can't find stuff anymore. So this particular show. So anyway, so that's cool, man. It's cool you're getting into it.
Thank you. It's been fun. I was at the Black Cat Lower East Side yesterday. Have you been to that place before?
Yeah.
It's like a coffee shop.
So, dude, Danny Palmer runs the show there on Friday night, which is like a proper show. And then the rest of the weeks they have open mics, I think.
Yeah, so I went there yesterday for the first time, and it was funny. They did a fishbowl drawing, and right before they called my name, a girl that I went to high school with popped into the shop. I haven't seen her in 9 years.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I got a little nervous because I'm like, she's a real person.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I got up, we had a little exchange, and it was interesting because like no one else is real. Like literally like anything can happen and it'll be okay. But like we grew up together, so I was a little extra pressure to do well with this person that I went to kindergarten with.
Wow.
And
hilarious.
we ended up chatting afterwards, and she's been doing stand-up for a little over a year now.
Nice.
And she's killing it. She's hilarious, and I had no idea that she was even around. So made another friend.
Sweet.
And yeah, it's going well. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
All right. Well, dude, listen, this is a fun angle for the podcast now. Ryan is beginning comedy. You have a very unfair advantage in that you know me, not to fucking toot my own horn, but like it's one of the hardest things when you start stand up is getting access to sort of like these circles of the circles of comedy information, first of all. Now, back in the day when I started, there weren't all these podcasts and shit, so there wasn't as much of a like behind the scenes look at what comedy lifestyle is really like. You kind of had to figure it out on your own. But it's really hard to sort of graduate to the next levels of comedy because it's so hard to do it that people who have made it don't want to make it easy for the new people because they're like, who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I mean? Which is why I think a lot of the sort of talent establishment is so frustrated about TikTok and shit that there's people kind of taking shortcuts. But why shouldn't they? You know what I mean? Things change. You kind of got to adapt. So dude, you got to let me help you, bro. I can get you normal spots.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we're going to get you on Danny's show. Danny will put you on his show. Would you do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a proper show. It's a Friday night show. They book great comics on it. It'll be a good thing for you.
Thank you.
We'll get you on there.
Yeah. When I think I briefly mentioned to you in April that I did my first open mic, or maybe I wanted to keep it a secret because I didn't want to tell you guys unless I was kind of serious about it. So I've, the last 3 or so months or since April, I've kind of just put my head down. I've been going to them a lot and, I just wanted to experience it completely by myself and see if I really liked it. and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So it's
Great, dude.
it's good.
Good for
And
you.
so now I'm happy to chat about it a little bit.
Sweet. Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But dude, once you fucking start licking your chops, maybe we'll get you on the road a little bit with me.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank
That
you.
could be fun. Yeah, for sure. Let's get that tight 5 fucking ready. And hopefully, it's funny at these open mics and shit. I think too, you'll become popular pretty quickly if you haven't already, just because if once people find out that you do this, they'll be like, oh fuck, like this guy's like,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, Ryan, what's up, dude?
We'll see. So
pretty sweet.
it's a lot of fun, and it's interesting. It's just like going into these random spots for 45 minutes, and I like to stick around. But there's this one person, and I know like this is.
Oh, like for the people to watch the other people.
I usually stick around, and there was this one guy that I've seen him go 4 times, and I've given him my full attention. I'm like not looking at my phone because like you said, a lot of people they're just
Don't
waiting
pay
for their turn, and I don't want to be a suck up. But this guy, I give my full attention. I give him some ha-has, even things that I don't think are particularly funny but are good, and then he always leaves before I go, and I want to perform just for him so badly.
Well, dude, that's the thing. I mean, it's sick that you're doing them every night, but you can theoretically do like 3 or 4 in a night. And I remember there's some certain people, I'm trying to think of comics who were like, did like really crush the open mics. There's this comic called Suba Agarwal. I think she lives in LA now. She used to do like 7 open mics a day.
Wow.
She was nuts. Mike Lawrence, who I've been on the road with a little bit now when I'm doing these Pete shows, he was like the king of the open mics too. There's a spot called the Creek in the Cave in Astoria, not in Astoria, Long Island City. It's now in Austin, Texas. But it was like the open mic spot. Like all the cool comics were there. Like the good comics would work out there. And a lot of those people are like household names now. So it's pretty
awesome.
interesting. And it's interesting to see how like the landscape changes and stuff. So
Yeah.
all the best of luck, Ryan.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can help you out if we can. Dude, I just got my patchouli sandalwood all natural deodorant from Reboot Eco. I'm smelling good, dude. I'm smelling extremely good.
Let me have a sniff.
Dude, the thing, come here. Now, the thing that I love the most, dude, about Reboot Eco for all things sustainability, especially when it comes to, for me specifically, keeping my house clean, keeping myself groomed and clean, and just using products that I don't think are going to make the earth a worse place. For example, the bamboo toothbrushes. The thing that's so cool about Reboot Eco is the way that they curate the best collection of these products so that you don't have to. Because clearly that's like a big market, the idea of just sort of sustainable products. And there's a million different brands, a million different products. But Reboot Eco has done an incredible job of curating the best collection of them. The ones that work, the ones that are practical, and the ones that don't make your life more difficult. You know what I mean? What a great idea to be able to live a more sustainable lifestyle without having to be inconvenienced by it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I ideally don't want to have to make sacrifices to do that. I will, but I'd rather just have it be easy and make sense. Toothpaste that actually foams, bamboo toothbrushes that don't rot and get disgusting, stuff that comes in sustainable packaging, all that stuff, dude. And that's why I think Reboot Eco is your one-stop shop for all things sustainability. And you can count on the people there to have already pre-selected the best available item. I truly stand by that. And let us know. Let us know if there's any stuff in particular that you're trying out that you really like. You know, I know there's a ton of stuff on there. So if any of you guys have discovered any stuff that I haven't talked about yet, I'd love to hear about it because I want to try it too. So make sure you go over there, rebooteco.com. Use promo code OOPS at checkout. You'll get 15% off of your order. That's REBOOTECO.com. Promo code OOPS, 15% off. I'm telling you guys, you're going to never turn back from some of these products. I know that I never will, and I don't think you will either, so give it a try. RebootEco.com, promo code OOPS. Let's pivot a little bit here. Somebody has been emailing us for dating advice. There's somebody at work. And I think we previously advised him to go for it. It's all good, whatever. So the plot thickens. She is now his boss. I guess she got promoted and is now his boss. And he is now skeptical about whether or not he should pursue it. What do you think?
I'll be honest, I don't really remember the first part of this.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
They liked each other. They worked together. But now she's his boss.
Okay.
And there's clearly something there. And it's unclear if they have hooked up already or not. But either way, I don't think it necessarily changes my advice, at least personally.
And what was your advice?
My advice is, I wrote it down because I like this. Work roles are ever changing, but love is forever.
Damn. That's a sexy situation. Like if I was in that situation, I would not cut it cold turkey. Like I would probably try to do that and indulge in that. That seems like a fun situation. If you guys are both grown adults, I think you can make it work. Even if you guys decide to split off from one another, I think it'll be fine. You got to go for it, I think.
You know, if you can somehow apply the principles of the workplace to the relationship, it'll be fine. Mm-hmm. The way that like there's protocol for difficult conversations and feedback and reviews, just if you're in like a real ass job, like a corporate job or whatever, I think you can kind of approach it that way and try to make it work. And maybe you can agree to be secretive about it or whatever you need to do, but I don't think that you should shy away from it. I think it's bad to assume that something that seems awesome is bad for you. You shouldn't just assume. Try to make it work and see. What's the worst thing? I mean, the worst thing that can happen is you break up and you're still there and she's your boss, but like, whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Would you rather just not take a shot at love, dude? Come on.
Yeah, you deal with that if and when it happens.
I dated my boss once. Sort of. I think I've sort of grazed on this story, but it's gone by long enough now that I think I can tell some of the details. There was this person who was my boss at a job that I used to have. I don't want to give too many details. I don't know what she's doing now, but I don't want to air her out. But anyway, I kind of had a crush on her, and I was the bottom of the totem pole in this place. She had a big job there, and I was like many, many, many steps below, but I'd see her in the office. I'd say hi, whatever. I was basically like a temp, like loser. You know what I mean? In the office. Not actually, but like I was the least important person at this office. I think I would wear sweatpants to work, and like I'd be in a literal closet somewhere, like folding clothes and shit. Anyway, one day I mustered up the courage, and I walked in her office, and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry if this is weird, but I just wanted to tell you that you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." And she was like, "What?" Like she was like, so like, she's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "Thank you. Like, that's so nice." Whatever. That was kind of it. Then I was only around for a little bit longer, and I had gotten these fucking screeners from SAG where like if you're in the Screen Actors Guild, you get all the movies as long as you paid your dues on time. So like I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted her to know that I did stuff outside of here. So I was like, "Hey, I get all the movies. Like, I don't know if you like movies, but..." So I think I gave her some of them or whatever. And then I was gone, right? And I would eventually come back and keep, because these assignments were only a couple weeks or a week or whatever. So I was in LA, and then she DM'd me, and we started chatting, whatever. Chatting. Before you know it, we like scheduled plans to go do something together. We like went to yoga class together or something. And eventually we ended up having these sort of like steamy sessions in the building, like in the closet. She'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to the closet." And we like go in there, and like we weren't doing anything crazy, but a little smooching, like a
little hanky panky.
Yeah, but not, we weren't like full blown. And maybe later, but I'm not going to get into those details. That's not what we do here. I'm an engaged man now, But anyway, so fooling around, and it was great. It was so fun. It was so exciting until it wasn't, which naturally that turn happens eventually. And I know I don't think I've ever told this in this much detail on this podcast, but I think I respect this person. I'm not going to like fuck her shit up. Anyway, so what ended up happening is some days she'd go to the closet and I wouldn't go. I'd be doing other things. And I was starting to get a little like icked out at this point for whatever reason. Like it just started to feel weird. And she would like get mad at me. She'd be like, "Why the fuck didn't you like come in the closet today?" And I'm like, "Oh, like I was busy." She's like, "Oh, you were busy doing what? Folding clothes?" I was like, "Oh my God, dude, savage." But listen, nothing ended up really happening from it. I think she is living her best life, and it didn't really matter. But granted, it wasn't my career. So if it is your career, you don't want to end up in that kind of situation. But that was like that was a little taboo. Like if you guys are both single people and she's your boss and it's a thing that could be a real relationship, like I don't see why not.
Yeah. If you really like her, you don't just want to hook up.
Right. That especially too. Like you don't want to just like have her be like a conquest or something. And then now, yeah, if you like her and you want to date her, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And if it's just like for sport, you should not do that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Keep us posted.
Yeah, keep us posted. Let us know how that goes. Dude, I'm pretty frustrated right now with my local pharmacy because they have a lot of stolen valor advertising. Dude, there's an open 24-hour sign at the pharmacy down the street from me, and it is not open 24 hours. What the fuck? I remember like Hillary needed something one night. I got home late. I was on the road, and she's like, "Can you grab whatever?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was like, "Oh, I know that place is open 24 hours." I go and it's closed. And there's people inside still, and I'm like standing outside, being like, and they're like, they do the hand on the neck thing. I'm like, and I pointed to 24 hours, and they're like, and I'm like, so then for some reason, like doing similar to what you did with the guy in the corner, I just start like acting like I'm filming as if that's going to do anything, just because I'm so fucking pissed and like annoyed at how inconvenienced I am. I just want them to like be stressed. Does nothing, obviously. The next day I go in there and I'm like, "Hey, I just wanted to note that you guys have the 24-hour sign up, but you're not open 24 hours. She goes, "We are." I'm like, "No, you're not." She goes, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, I guess you work during the day, but it's not open at night anymore." And she goes, "Okay." She goes, "I don't know." She goes, "Do you want to talk to the manager?" And I was like, "Sure." Here we go. Karen,
you did want to talk to
Karen
the manager.
City. I didn't really, but I wanted to literally be like, I'm like, I just, there's a 24-hour sign, and that's like misleading. It's like, I said it's stolen valor. Like you're not open 24 hours. You're not allowed to say you are. I didn't say it like this, but I'm like, I did say it's a little bit of stolen
point it
valor.
out.
And she goes, "Oh, it's only, we've changed our hours like a couple months ago, and we're not 24 hours anymore." And I'm like, "So are you going to you should take the sign down?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess we still need to." And I intend to check in on this topic.
Good, because it seems like no one else is.
And you know what put me, it seems like no one else is. You know what really put me over the edge?
What?
I went to get a flu shot and it said walk-ins welcome. And I go, "Can I have a flu shot?" And they go, "Do you have an appointment?" And I said, "No, but I thought walk-ins are welcome." And they go, "No, you need an appointment." And I was like, "Oh, so I guess walk-ins aren't welcome." And they were like, "Yeah, you need an appointment." I was like, "Okay." So I made an appointment, went back. But I'm starting to get really fucking pissed, dude.
Yeah.
And to the point where I had a thing with this pharmacy where every month, I pay and then I get extra money because I paid this membership, right? Something like that. I called and I was like, "Hey, I'm canceling this because I'm frustrated about all the false advertising." And the guy's like, "Well, sir, let me remind you that you saved $75 since the beginning of the year." And I was like, "Dude, if you told me that this membership was going to massage my back, I would still cancel it."
You said that?
Yes.
Giulio.
Dude, I was just being I don't know.
Main character Giulio, guys?
I don't know, dude. This
so.
is more like Karen Giulio. I just hate getting got, dude.
Yeah.
Walk-ins welcome. No, they're not. 24 hours. No, it's not, dude. It's not. That you should be punished for that as a business. That's all I gotta say.
No, that's fair. That's valid.
Right?
What kind of sign? So I know the one inside's probably paper or whatever, easy to remove.
I think you know what? I went to get my flu shot there, and they no longer had the walk-ins welcome thing. So I was like, good.
Okay, it was probably like a banner, right? That kind of signage.
It was like it was either a banner or like a cardboard standing thing.
And where was the open 24 hours?
That was at a different location.
Okay, what kind of sign was that?
It's a giant, like
neon.
Yes.
Yeah.
A giant neon sign.
You should be a thorn in their ass until they pull
That's
that down
really
and change
annoying,
their hours
dude.
back. Absolutely.
That's really fucking annoying. You are not open 24 hours. How dare that? I'm just out here in the neighborhood causing trouble. Well, I went to this Korean spot to have lunch the other day. The place fucking rocks. Okay, it's like places where you can assemble your own meal are fun, especially when you can add unlimited items. I'll be out here adding fucking roots and scallions and carrots and shit. Like if I go to a salad place, you can only add 4 things and then everything else costs extra. So that like limits what you can do. I love variety, dude. So I'm out here crushing it. Anyway, I'm sitting there, dude, eating, and I'm going to look at my notes here because there's a couple elements to this that I really want to add. This woman comes up to me and goes, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's da-da-da." And then she starts telling me about it. She's like, "You know that this," and dude, I'm not even kidding you, putting her hand over the food while I'm trying to eat it. "This is called this. It's really popular in Korea." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, I'm looking at her like, and then she goes, "Ooh, you're a nice looking man." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
No.
No, dude, she immediately buttered me up. I'm like, "Tell me more." tell me more. She goes, oh, and I didn't say tell me more. I'm like, oh, thank you. That's so nice. And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, yeah. She goes, you're you're an American treasure, like my husband. I'm like, oh nice. She goes, but I bet you have a girlfriend, don't you? I'm like, fiance. She's like, I knew it. She goes, you mind if I sit with you while I wait for my food? Dude, I swear to God. I'm like, is this real? Then she starts telling me all this shit, bro.
So
okay.
she did sit with you.
She sat down with me. And no, she's already told me that I'm such a nice looking man. So I'm like backing off a little bit. But she just starts telling me everything and then tries to get me to sign up for this program. She's like, do you need an intern? And I'm like, maybe. I'm like, tell me more. She's like, well, I work with this high school where there's kids and they need it for credit. It's free and they're great. And I'm just like, oh, but I don't know what's wrong with this lady. Like, you ever hear about, that's the problem. You hear about something good, but it's from a really questionable individual. You sort of can't, right? Mm-hmm. This woman's out here terrorizing people during their meals. Dude,
you probably weren't the first person. You probably weren't the first person that she talked to. So I bet you didn't feel so special after she made the pitch to you.
I know. And as she's asking me more, so she's telling me about my meal, but then also asking me. She said, what sauce did you get? Mm-hmm. She's like, you know what?
Sales 101.
Yeah. She goes, I ordered this, but I think I might have to get what you got. She's like, you think it'll be all right overnight? I'm like, lady, I don't fucking know. Get out of my face. What the fuck's wrong with you?
So she was offering like a high school intern?
Basically, but I think she's just a volunteer. It must have been some kind of like magnet school or something. It was some sort of like high school with like a vocational element where like you actually work in the field doing the thing. But I think there was some sort of technology producer path that she was, I don't know.
Now, how did that interaction end? What was the last thing she said? What was the last thing you said?
She goes, she goes, give me your card. I'm like, I don't have a card, lady. What the fuck is this? 1995. I don't have a card. She goes, all right. I was like, give me your card. She goes, okay. And I was like, you can take my email if you want. She hasn't emailed me and I'm not going to email her. So we'll see. We'll see if she ever hits me up. I doubt it.
That's weird.
Dude, as we were driving to Wyoming, we stopped to get a meal. So let me ask you guys about this. So if you're going to a destination wedding and they offer sort of like transportation, there's a bus that's going to pick everybody up. Is it worth it to take the bus? Especially if you don't need the car. Like once we got on the ranch, we absolutely did not need a car. I didn't drive it off the property once. But the idea of having a rental car for flexibility seemed so nice that we did it. It was kind of expensive. It was like $500. Split it with Hill Dog. Was that worth it?
Well, you needed the car to get to the place?
But the shuttle bus was bringing people. And it was a nice
From the airport?
Bus. Yes.
Oh.
It was like a charter coach bus.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know whether or not that was a good decision until after the fact. So I probably, looking back at it, I probably would have just went with the bus. But how are you to know? Did you know that there was going to be a bus picking people up from the airport? Yeah. Do you think it was a little corny?
No, I didn't think it was corny. I just thought that I didn't like the idea of being like a prisoner to like the timing or like, and even like on the way back, like they were collecting people's luggage super early. Like it was a big operation. So naturally, like you have a little bit less flexible with time, but also you don't have to take on the expense of, I don't know.
How far away was the airport from?
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours? Yeah. I would have taken the bus.
You would have taken the bus? Yeah. And a lot of people did. And like, it was just Hill Dog and I like having the flexibility of a rental car, even I guess if we don't end up needing it, but usually you do need it, but whatever. So anyway, we stopped at this diner outside of Denver. I forget what it's called, but I want to find the name because I want to see if anyone else who listens has been there. I know we have a lot of listeners from that area. This place is called Gunther Tootie's. It's a diner. There's a chance that there's other locations. It seemed like the type of place that may be sort of like scaled up. There's like a few of them or whatever. But our waiter's name was Bugs Bunny.
Really?
Yep. Bugs Bunny. This guy was Hispanic. He did not speak English that well. And he was like, my name is Bugs Bunny. And it was cute. And he thought it was funny. He like chuckled, which made me think that maybe he just chose that and thought it was going to be funny to go by Bugs Bunny. But, it's like a diner, 50s theme. You know what I mean? Like, I was wondering if maybe all the waiters have nicknames of cartoon characters or if it was just this guy. So I'm asking anybody who's been there, let us know if every single person there has a silly name or if this guy just chose it. He seemed pretty pleased with himself, which makes me think that it was just his decision.
He picked a good name.
Because, bro, if I worked at a place and I was like, hey, what's up? I'm Yosemite Sam. Like, I'll be helping you today. I'd be fucking annoyed about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be like, I'm Yosemite Sam. Or I'm Foghorn Leghorn. Gonna have the omelet?
That seems like fun. Not for everybody, but I mean, it's scratching his itch.
I enjoyed it. I thought the guy was cute and funny and like it was a fun thing.
Did he say any like one-liners or anything like that? Or was Bugs Bunny like that was the only creative?
He was really sweet. Dude, he was really sweet. We really liked him. We gave him a big tip because he was just so helpful. So we happen to be at the most difficult dietary table of all time. Hill Dog's allergic to nuts. She doesn't eat meat. Ted Jones is a vegan. And, you know, we're sort of fairly far outside of the city. Like, you know, as you guys know, the farther you get outside of cities, a lot of the time it can be harder to find options for that kind of shit. But whatever. Like, they know what they've gotten themselves into. So Teddy's trying to find something on the menu. He's asking the guy a bunch of questions. The guy's his English isn't great. So it's sort of like, whatever. Teddy ends up not getting anything. Hillary orders something and she's like, but no meat. He's like, okay. It comes, it has meat. She's like, oh, sorry. Like, there's meat. Like, it's not a big deal. And he's like, no. He felt bad. He brought it back, brought out a new one. Like, it was no big deal. He was super helpful. And then when Teddy said he's vegan, this guy was like, oh, I'm not vegan, but I stopped eating rice. In my culture, there's a lot of rice. And now I only eat meat and I'm training for fighting. And I'm losing 30 pounds. Dude, he was the sweetest little bunny. He's little bunny. Bugs Bunny, he's a cute little bunny, this guy. Anyway, so we loved him, bro. He was really sweet. And
that's nice.
He shared and he was excited. And he's like, yeah, so we're like, so how do you do that here? Like, he's like, I bring fish. I'm going to have fish with the other girl right there for lunch. Dude, it's very cute. And it was just cute the way that, you know, he was relating to people making dietary sacrifices. Basically, he's like, well, I'm not vegan, but I make a nice fish. It was very, it's very cute, man. And another thing he did, which I really like, is he wrote down the whole fucking order. So Hilda, I know you hate this. Did I talk about this already?
We talked
about
the
new game that we have.
No,
I didn't. About the writing down or not writing down.
Not on the pod, and if you have, it's been months.
Really? Okay. Ryan hates when waiters don't write down the order.
I think a lot of us hate that.
I hate it too.
Yeah.
We all typically hate it. What Hillary and I have started doing is we have a log of whether or not they were successful. And it's ongoing. Mm-hmm. Now, this is interesting. There's, you know how in soccer, like a team will be 1-1-1, one win, one loss, one tie. So we have a third category too.
What's that?
Where it wasn't clear whether or not them writing it down or not was a problem. And you might be thinking, when could that possibly be the case? Okay. So this woman, this woman who is our waiter, waitress, whatever. I don't know if you're allowed to gender specify those jobs anymore. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. Or the person who waited on us didn't write down our order. And our order took an extremely long time to come out. And we saw some commotion. We saw a guy looking at a plate and going back, but we don't know whether or not that had anything to do with her. Mm-hmm. So that one goes in the third column of unclear. Okay. She got lucky.
So you ended up getting everything correctly.
But it just took very long time, and it was unclear if we saw there be and we don't know if it was ours. It just took an unusually long time.
That's worthy of a tally in that column.
Worthy of the third category.
Wow. But I like that game.
It's a new game, so right now we're 0-1 because that was the only time it's happened because we started with that one. But we will have an ongoing list for the rest of our relationship.
That is so much fun.
AKA forever, hopefully.
Can you keep us all updated with that as we go? I sure will. Similar to what we did with the flights?
I sure will, Ryan.
I think we should do that.
That is fun.
That is really fun. Flights
right now I'm at 26. Last year I was up to 48. I have a ton of flights coming up though through the rest of the year, so I wonder if I'm going to get close or not. Well, dude, it's funny. We're talking about stand-up, and I had a thing that I realized that I found very interesting. So now that I have taped comedy for TV, and I had previously a couple times also, but one of them, it was on some like bootleg channel, and then the other time it was like mostly online, I think, or a subscription service. So when I did the Netflix thing, that was my like proper coming out party for televised comedy, right? And I became in touch with an interesting phenomenon. So if you're at a comedy show and you're on stage and you're killing, that doesn't always mean that will translate to good televised comedy. And that might be for a variety of reasons. Maybe whatever you're doing is, quote, hack, aka a bunch of people have already done a similar version of it. It's like not any sort, it's not like a novel premise or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff that can contribute to that. So that's interesting to me. It's like there are people who might just absolutely blow the roof off of a room and kill so fucking hard. And then there might be a guy who doesn't as much, but that guy's special might be better. I'm not relating this to myself at all specifically. I've discovered that in general. And that's interesting. Now you might argue that the people who are at the top of the game have it all. The Chappelles of the world. He'll put out an incredible special, and also in the room, he's just killing. And not only is he killing, he's killing with new shit. He'll go on stage for 2 hours and do shit he's never done, or shit that like you've never heard, and just be killing, trying stuff out, killing. Some people got it like that, whatever. But then there's other people who are a little more, you know, low energy or whatever, and they're just not killing as hard, aka just like doing extremely well up there. But then they have legendary specials. So I'm trying to be in touch with that, because as I'm preparing to film mine, I want to make sure that I like the material. I don't get blinded by this bit does really well, and maybe it's not as good of a bit as I think, just because it does well. Or the other way around, maybe a bit that doesn't do as well, it might actually be a great bit for my special. Now, granted, you don't want to do stuff that bombs. You know what I mean? If you try it 50 times and it never works, the joke probably isn't good. But there's some leeway with all that. I think that's interesting conceptually. And I have a good example. My Netflix thing, it's a short set, obviously. It's 6 or 7 minutes, whatever. But there's a line in there that I never said before. And I said it in the taping. It didn't work. It didn't get a laugh. I did it twice, both tapings. It did not, no one laughed. They edited it to make it sound like you got more laughs than you did or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's lifting the veil up too much, but like they edited it maybe because they were like, oh, that is funny. We're going to make it sound like it did better. There's also a chance that it just did well and I didn't notice or something, but it didn't kill. I know for a fact that joke did not kill. And it's when I literally said, these bros are pros. I was like, these bros are pros. It was a throwaway. I said it cheekily. It was like kind of silly, kind of funny, but whatever. And that is the number one thing that people reference from that set.
Wow. These
bros are pros. And I don't know if they're more generally talking about that bit. I would say that's probably the signature bit of my set. I think it's kind of a little bit of a niche reference, you know what I mean? But to those who understand it, they love it, you know, which is another thing that's worth thinking about. But I just think that that's so funny that not everything is completely straightforward with something that requires perspective and taste. So here this little piece of a joke is that I thought was kind of funny. I tried it, didn't do much, and it becomes sort of like the signature reference from the special.
That's interesting. Were you able to see any cuts of the edit?
Nope.
So you saw it as everyone else did?
Yep. And they even cut out an entire bit for length, because everybody, they're like, all right, we're only going to include X amount of time in your set. Some people had longer sets than others for whatever reason, but like for whatever reason, I don't necessarily know if it had to do with like, ooh, that set's better, let's keep it. I think it was harder to edit certain people's sets. Like it was more convoluted as to where there could be a cut. Mm-hmm. So for mine, I think there was a clear starting and end point. It was this joke I have about texting the wrong person, which if you guys have seen me live on the road, you've probably seen it. I'm going to put it in my special. When it is your special, and if you guys can hear all the horns, by the way, in the background, the UN is in town and I live kind of near there. So it's been fucking crazy on the street. Sirens, horns. Anyway, yeah, so they cut an entire bit out, but I was not able to be involved in the edit. Now, if it's my special, I'm able to be completely involved in the edit, but I was very worried about that, to the point where when it came out, I didn't even want to watch it. I was too nervous. But all in all, I'm happy with the way it turned out, and I think the feedback was generally positive. And I also think a lot of people watched that, which helped me a lot. It was like, I think it was number 1 on Netflix at one point, and people seemed to have watched it. And I think now that the dust is settled, that special is regarded as having done well.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people discovered you for the first time through that?
I wonder. I never really know.
So I wonder how that comes out in a conversation after a show when you're talking to somebody.
Totally. So Well, I will say this, like pod people, it's pretty obvious who you guys are, because a lot of the time, you know, we correspond before the show. I know you're coming, we chat, whatever. Those are the best fans. Pod fans are the best fans. You guys are the best, and those are the people who I'm waiting to talk to after a show. If it's a person who saw me on Netflix or whatever, they likely don't know as much about me, and I'm less likely to give them time as I am for pod people. But I also think they're less engaged fans in general. So there is a chance like, oh, I saw that guy on Netflix, let's go watch him. I feel like that person will be less likely to stay after the show. I'm not like a household name the way Pete is, you know what I mean? Where it's different. Which, by the way, anybody who came to see me in Richmond, thank you for coming to that show. Those shows were really great. Both the one at the Funny Bone and the one at the National Theater, whatever it's called. But dude, that was the most I've ever felt like a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a big group of people waiting after the show. Now, guys, if anybody messaged me and was like, hey, we waited for you, if it's not my show, I don't get to decide how my time is spent. So like, I don't want you to think that I'm curving you by not coming down to talk if it's at a Pete show. And Pete can't. Pete's too famous. Like if Pete were to stop, Pete needs to have people in place now to stop people from bothering him, because people will swarm him to the point where it's like not even safe for him. So even he is the most gracious, sweet fucking guy to people. Like he takes a picture with everyone. He will do everything for everyone. So, but he just he can't physically do it anymore. But at this Richmond show, there was a big group of people outside of the back, and I come out the doors and people are there waiting. They're like, oh, Giulio, like Ricky, like, and like, it felt like a montage in a movie where a guy like steps out of a limo for a premiere and he's daydreaming and everyone's like, Ryan, tell us more about. I was nuts. I was like, that's crazy. And Pete had to go out some other entrance or exit or whatever so that he wouldn't. It was crazy, dude. The way with which, but that was such a fun experience. Those Richmond shows. You guys were awesome. The crowds were phenomenal, and it was really awesome.
That's awesome.
So yeah, not to transition into just telling a bunch of comedy stories, but yeah, dude, this is where we're at. We're doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
you mentioned the paparazzi feeling and that fantasy. Last week was Fashion Week in New York, and I live near Domino Park by the old Domino Sugar Factory. It's been restored, and it's going to become like a pop-in venue. There's going to be restaurants in the front. Those aren't open yet. But up top, there was a soft launch for some Fashion Week event. I don't know what it was, but tons of people were going. There was tons of security around my street. And so I was with Victoria, went to the bodega just to grab a snack. And we see a security guard and we're like, hey, what's going on? He's like, there's an event tonight. So we walked down because we didn't even know it was open. There's tons of people. It's like a red carpet situation. Sick. And there is like full on like photographers. Like there's like 8 of them in this little cluster, and they're just taking pictures of people like a conveyor belt. They get their picture and they go down, but there's no red rope. And so Victoria's like, all right, let's go home. And when I saw people getting their photo taken, I wanted to get my photo taken so badly. And we live very close to it. So I was like, Vic, we need to go home right now. And so
there's a proper red carpet?
Well, it wasn't. No, I was just describing it as that because there was not a red carpet. But it was an invite only type of event, and there was a line.
Was there press taking pictures?
Yes, there was press. Okay. And so I was like, oh my God, what a high it would be to get my photo taken. And so I run home and I put on some nice pants. I put on a t-shirt. I put on a blazer. I put on some dress shoes, and then some really silly glasses. And I was like, Vic, I'll be right back. And my goal was to get my photo taken by by the press. And I go down there, and they're still taking photos, and I'm feeling confident because 2 security guards.
How much time has gone by?
This is all within.
From when you left to when you got back? Like
less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
And so people were still arriving for this event. It's around 9:00. And I was feeling really good because I walked by 2 security guards, and they were like, I love your outfit, man. And I was like, thank you. And I was trying to just like act the part. I wanted to act the part. And so I was like, how can I stand in front of the press and get my photo taken without it being like, wait a minute, that guy just walked here and he's just standing here waiting to get his photo taken. So I had a fake phone call. And so I'm walking. Now I'm in front of the people taking the photos. I just saw them finish with someone else. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm in the front. You know, I'm waiting for you. Yeah. I went Navy tonight. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, I'll see you in a minute. And then
you
I
love
kind
the
of
fake call, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I love the fake call. I lean on that for my protection sometimes. But this time I was being the aggressor. So then I'm standing there and I'm in the spot. And what a shitty feeling it was for all the press to see me and read through all the bullshit that I was not supposed to be at the event. And I stood there about 90 seconds before I finally made eye contact with some photographer. And I said, I'm like, hey, can you take my picture? And so he took like 6 photos of me.
Not on the area?
It was on the area, but the press they were done with me and they were on to somebody else. Like they read right through me. And so,
well, at least you got a couple.
Yeah, and then I got his contact info.
Did you get the pics?
I hope by the time this episode comes out, the photos will be right here. I do not have the pictures yet. I am 2 DMs that have not been responded to from the photographer, Brian. So I really hope I get
Brian
those.
will come up big, dude.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the one thing you had working against you, and I don't know if that was the deal here, everybody who walks the carpet, their name is pre-registered. So you get there, and then I've only done it one time, as you guys know on the pod, but then they write your name on a whiteboard and hold it up so that when people take your picture, it registers on all the like Getty Images or whatever, if anybody wanted to buy pictures of you or whatever.
Yeah.
So like,
we'll see. It wasn't red carpet, but it was a elevated event. Like
it was like a step and repeat situation. Like where they put the big thing up with like the logos in the background. It's like a white background and they take pictures in front of it type of thing.
No, there wasn't that.
Okay.
But
still, elevated event.
Yeah.
High fashion.
Yeah. So it was sick. Vic was like, "What are you doing?"
I'm surprised you guys didn't try to infiltrate the event.
No, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to get my picture taken.
Well, yeah, I will
But
say
it looks
this.
sick.
Sorry. Yeah, it looked cool. I'm sure it looked cool from the outside. Like, you might as well get in there and do it. This is a cool idea if you're ever on an early date. I did this with Hill Dog, and she sort of like wasn't that impressed by it. But I think in general, this would be something that could be fun and impressive. Like, you're on a date with somebody and you walk by an event, trying to just fucking, wedding crash the event is a funny thing to do on an early date with somebody. It's like romantic and like fun. Mm-hmm. And we did it. There's this like Ukrainian center on 2nd Avenue in the East Village. And I was like, have you ever been in there? And she's like, no. And I was like, I've always wondered what's in there. So we go in, there's this like authentic Ukrainian restaurant. And then upstairs, there's this event space. And there was just some like random Catholic schools like holiday party. And we just crashed it. We did the photo booth. We had drinks. We met some teachers. It was fucking hilarious, and it was really fun.
That is fun.
And it's like hot, dude. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think, again, she wasn't like, I was doing it to like try to be spontaneous. I like wanted to like be extra to like make her think I was cool or something. But I do, generally speaking, think it's a fun thing to do, especially if you're like not fully with somebody yet.
Yeah, that is fun. It's a little secret.
It's a little secret, right?
It's a little secret.
It's a nice little secret. Did I talk about Richmond at all? I don't think so.
Give a little more.
All right. So good friend got married. We did the shows down there with Pete, and then we stayed down for the wedding, and a bunch of us went to the wedding. It was really fun. And so it was a very ethnically a strong identity on both sides. The bride was Persian. The husband was Greek. They did a sort of fusion ceremony of a lot of the traditions and a lot of the like whatever. And it was really cool. It was a really nice day. And then afterward, we had the reception, and early on the DJ was playing like what was clearly like the Persian side of the family's stuff. Like people doing la 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 la, and like the snapping, which I know how to do. If you have seen the Iraq video, I can do the finger snap. I need a little bit more room to do it. My fingers have been very moisturized lately, so it might not land as well, but right? I can do it. Anyway, do you see how I'm doing it? You line your fingers up like this, and then you rest this finger against the middle finger, and then with the pointer finger, you slide.
I see it.
Snap. They snap. They do the la 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 thing. And everybody's getting up to dance, and I sort of, it was all the people who like understood that and were doing it, who were doing it together. And it's early in the night. I'm sure if it were later in the night, that everybody would have like been involved, but I think it's like a little intimidating to see something that's that culturally rich to participate. But I was like, dude, fuck it, I'm going for it. Got up, started dancing in the circle, and I really enjoyed myself. I posted on my story, and a bunch of people were replying, being like, "This is so wholesome. This is very big G." But I was like, "Dude, fuck it, I'm getting involved."
That is nice to get involved like that.
I know. I love a good cultural thing, and I know that on a past episode I've said that I didn't want my like wedding ceremony to be religious. That may be true, but in general, I do like participating in other people's cultures.
Yeah.
All cultures.
Yeah. Victoria's family, she's Armenian, and they have a special dance that they do
cool.
where they interlock their legs, and that's fun. I love doing
That's
that
really
with
cool.
them.
Okay, one last thing here that's pretty funny. I saw a first the other day. We were performing. I don't want to say where because the theater was really nice, and I don't want people to not want to go there. But we were performing, and a fucking bat flew across the stage, dude. A bat. And it kept doing it. There were 2 shows. The bat flew out multiple times during the 2 shows. I've never heard of that. I'm doing this a long time. I've never seen a bat fly across the stage.
Did it stop the show?
Like, kinda. Like, no. Like, briefly.
But it was a thing.
It was a thing. And we had 2 nights of shows there. So the first show, the bat came out. The second show came out again during somebody else's set. And you know, listen, bats, you don't want to be interacting with bats. Rabies is like 99% fatal. You know, if like a bat shits on you or by the way, there are bats really close to me in Nicaragua. I got shit on by bats. People were DMing me. They're like, you need post-exposure prophylaxis. I was like, no, I don't. But like now that I know more, I'm like, fuck, that was like sketchy. Anyway, so we were all like freaked out. We're like, can you guys please get the bat? Like there was a bat guy looking for the bat. He couldn't find it. And then the second show, the bat comes out again. And then we're sort of skeptical that they would ever find it. They end up right after the show, I guess they hired some special guy sending us a picture of the bat in their hands. And I'm not convinced, bro, that this isn't a taxidermied bat. Can I show you a picture?
Yeah.
I am not convinced that this bat was even real because of how not real it looks. Does that even look real to you?
How is the mouth open in the photo?
It looks like a toy bat. Like, is the bat flying in that guy's hands? That's scary. If the bat's like,
It's definitely making a noise if it's real in this photo.
that's scary, dude.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like, zoom in on that. That's fucking scary.
It's terrifying. It's just a mouth.
Bats are scary.
They're scary because we don't see them a lot, and because of the diseases that they carry.
Yeah.
We're not exposed to them that much. I see rats now on the street. I'd say like the first month that I was in the city, I was like, whew. But now it's just like,
You're like, whatever.
It's like, what's up?
Agreed. Rats still, like, cockroaches I'm completely fine with at this point, just because, you know, but if I were to see a rat in my apartment, that would be
Oh my God.
pretty big problem.
That would be a problem.
I'm not even allowed to say that word in front of Hillary. She calls them unspeakables.
Rat?
Yeah, I don't say it.
Okay.
Unspeakable.
Yeah.
So Hill, I hope that you weren't listening to this part of the conversation.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. So when I came to record right after the engagement, Victoria and I got Giulio and Hillary a gift. Now, when I showed up, Giulio was like, let's wait till Hillary gets here because it was for the both of them. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then things got busy and we didn't end up doing it. I didn't let you know that it was a plant.
Yeah.
And so you never texted me. So I was like, oh, Giulio probably didn't open it. And then I saw that you were at the wedding. And now there's a plant that I don't know if it needs to be watered or not, sitting by the window.
In a bag.
In a bag, dying. And the worst part about it, I didn't even bother texting Giulio because you would have let me know if you opened it. I was just really nervous. I thought about texting you saying like, hey, I need to get into your apartment because I left an SD card so I can come and water it. I thought about it, but I was like, you know what, whatever.
It's very cute.
And the reason why I felt particularly bad is because we wrote you a card with like an analogy about love and raising a plant and how you need to water it.
It's
and
very cute.
Just like a relationship, you have to, care for it and be patient and love. And I just would have been devastated if you came home and you opened up the bag, read the card, and then saw a dead plant. And I felt like that would have been bad vibes for you two and your engagement.
That's really funny. And dude, it's funny. I remember when we opened it, it must have been, 5 or 6 days after you brought it over. Now, fortunately, this plant apparently does well on its own, but we got home and I wanted to wait for Hillary to open it because I wanted to, be fun. So I had a crazy week. As you know, I had to go to Wyoming and I wasn't home a lot. And we left early for the airport. Anyway, we get back and I open it. And I was actually, dude, I almost waited another day. I think the plant would have been fine. But once I saw I was like, oh my God, I need to text them immediately, even though it was really late, because you're probably like, fuck, like, did he open it? Or like, did he like not? Obviously I was going to say something.
No, I knew that.
But yeah, I made sure I watered it immediately, and now it's looking real good.
It's good.
Worked out. Awesome, man. Well, listen, thank you for the plant, Ryan.
Of course.
It fits in well with our apartment. We now have a bunch of plants to go along with the original plant boy who's thriving. And he looks like how these plants look in the picture, which is nice. The 4 or 5. Now he has 6 white things.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they only can grow 4, but he has 6. So hopefully they'll blossom. oopspodcast@gmail.com for your emails. DM us at oopspodcast. Follow us. Watch us on YouTube. Comment, like, all that stuff. It helps us. We appreciate you guys and hope you're having as much fun as we are. And all my tour dates are on my site, notjulio.com. You know, I've added Oklahoma, Kentucky, outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, and then also St. Pete, which is apparently my fucking home spot. Now I'm there all the time. Looking forward to that one and a bunch of other spots. So check it out, notjulio.com.
Cool. Check me out. Ryan is Really Polite, Instagram and TikTok. And then Ryan is Polite on Twitter. And thanks, guys.